Hello astronomers and welcome again to another episode of Browsing X. In this episode we're going to be discussing a telescope that it has been using for the past 6 months. It's the SVBONY SV503. This telescope sits in the budget side, and I will be discussing all about it in terms of pros and cons, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and how to solve these problems if this is the only budget that you can work with. When it comes to the specs of these telescopes, it comes in two sizes, an 80mm of aperture and 102mm of aperture. In terms of focal length, it has a 714mm of focal length for the 102mm of aperture. However, with a reducer, it will reach a 570mm of focal length. With a reducer, a 0.8 reducer, this telescope can reach 570mm of aperture. This will put it in the medium size telescope range, will put it in the category of it's very suitable for beginners, and it will allow a capture of most of the nebulae and galaxies. Another advantage of having this telescope, it comes with a pre-installed dew shield, and it's very snug at the end and very smooth at the middle, which allow some certain protection towards dew and also some certain protections toward light pollutions. One of the advantages of this telescope that it comes with a great focuser. The focuser with it is considered in the premium size, and the premium side, since it has two speeds and they are very smooth, and it comes with a locking mechanism underneath that it feels very solid. Also, it has two holes, pre-drilled two holes underneath it, which allow for installing any automatic focuser for your choosing. On the focuser, you have two locations to install a shoe like this one in order for you to install any extra accessories you have. So you have here the ASI Air, and you have an optional one here to install your guide scope if you wish. This scope comes with a rotator for the focuser, and there is a knob here. Once you unlock it, you will be able to rotate your frame, and this will make framing your image much easier than having to rotate the camera. One of the important accessories for this telescope is the field flattener and the 0.8 reducer. It comes in two pieces. It is 2-inch wide, and it comes with this spacer that it attached to it. However, both of them have the 48mm threads, and you have the choice of attaching them together or installing the reducer or the flattener separately. However, if you choose to install the reducer and field flattener into the telescope with the attachment of the spacer, you will run into a problem while you have to push the focuser all the way inside the telescope. Then you might run out of space before you reach the focus of the telescope. Also, it comes with a dovetail carrier, which is the dovetail plate that it can be mounted to your telescope mount, and this is a common size, so it can be pretty much installed and mounted over most of the telescope mounts out there. I really like the two knobs that secures the telescope tube within the mounting dovetail. They are very snug, they are very firm, and they are very soft in terms of the feeling around the tube of the telescope. When it comes to the advantages of this telescope comes with ED glass, and it's a doublet telescope. A doublet telescope is basically a two lenses component that provide a certain protection against chromatic aberration, since it will be able to focus most of the lights in the same focal point except for the blue light, and this will appear if you are capturing a broadband image of a galaxy or a star, that you will see a blue halo or a blue fringing around the stars in the picture. However, who's this telescope is for? This telescope will be perfect for somebody who's photographing with a monochrome camera, or somebody who's photographing with a colored camera, but he's using a narrowband filters for any emission nebulae out there. It will not have those problems of chromatic operations at all when you are using those with these filters for those objects. However, when it comes to galaxies, then when this telescopes comes a little bit short, since you are broadband imaging with only one filter, which is an IR UV cut filter, and it will produce some bluish around the stars, as we mentioned. And this is one of the disadvantages of this telescope. However, when it comes to the budget that this telescope sits in, I think that it's one of the best telescopes that sits within this budget. This telescope has been produced in a different brands rather than the SVBONY. However, the SVBONY is the most cheapest one of them, and in my opinion have the best mounting plate of all of them, and the best dew shield that it's pre-installed. This scope provides a location here and here to install the extra handle that you can buy separately for it, and it provides location here, here and there to install extra accessories. But this handle comes very handy when you are trying to move the scope from here, from the top, or install your guide scope in the top also if you wish to do so. The build quality of this telescope is great. It feels very sturdy, and I was amazed by the build quality of such a telescope on the budget. Now I will show you some of the photos that I took during the last 6 months with this telescope to give you a better idea about what you expect from this telescope. I hope by now you get a better idea about what this telescope is capable of, what its pros and cons, and who is this telescope is good for. As always, thank you again for watching, and if you have any comments, please leave it in the comment section below, and I will be happy to answer all of them, and I will see you in the next episode.